Aiko Koo was just 15 years old when she disappeared in Berkeley, California in 1972. She was a promising high school student with dreams of a bright future. Edmund Kemper confessed to her murder as part of his string of brutal crimes. Aiko's story, like so many others, reminds us that behind every case file is a young person with hopes, loved ones, and a life unjustly stolen. She is remembered as a daughter and a friend whose memory lives on. Caroline Owens was a young nanny when she accepted a job with Fred and Rosemary West in Gloucester, England. What began as work quickly became a nightmare. She endured threats, manipulation, and escalating abuse at their hands. Summoning incredible courage, Caroline escaped and reported the West to police. Although the initial investigation failed to reveal the full extent of their crimes, her statement became a critical piece of evidence years later when their horrific murders were uncovered. Caroline's survival and bravery stand as a powerful reminder that one voice can spark justice and save countless lives. Darlene Ferrin was a 22-year-old mother and waitress in Vallejo, California. On the night of July 4th, 1969, she was ambushed and shot while sitting in a car with a friend. The attack was later confirmed to be the work of the Zodiac killer, whose identity remains a mystery. Darlene is remembered as a vibrant young woman, loved by her family and her daughter. Her story reminds us that the search for justice is not just about solving crimes, but about honoring the lives taken. Heather West was murdered by serial killers Fred and Rosemary West. Heather West was only 16 when her life was taken by her parents, Fred and Rosemary West, in one of Britain's most disturbing cases. For years, her disappearance went unexplained until investigators uncovered the West crimes. Heather's life, though tragically short, is honored by those who speak her name and remember her not as a victim of cruelty, but as a young woman who deserved love, safety, and the chance to grow. Jacqueline Hill was a 20-year-old student at Leeds University, preparing for a future filled with promise. She was walking home when she became one of the final victims of Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper. Sutcliffe's reign of terror lasted years, but Jacqueline's name reminds us of the real lives behind the statistics. She is remembered as a young woman with ambition and compassion, whose legacy is dignity, not fear. Kathleen Grundy, 81, was a respected former mayor and community figure in Hyde, England. In 1998, she was found dead in her home, and suspicions later revealed Harold Shipman's pattern of killing patients under his care. Shipman was convicted of the murder of many others. Kathleen is remembered not for her tragic death, but for her years of service and contribution to her community. Her life stands as a reminder that every life deserves dignity and protection, regardless of age. Kimberly Leech was just 12 years old when she was abducted from her school in Lake City, Florida, in February 1978. She was a friendly, bright student who loved her family and friends. Ted Bundy's conviction for her murder brought justice, but not healing for the wound left behind. Her life, full of promise, was stolen too soon. Kimberly's memory is honored today as a reminder to protect the young and never to forget the victims behind the headlines. Leslie Ann Downey was only 10 years old when she was abducted from a fairground in Manchester, England, by Ian Brady and Myra Hindley. The Moors murders shocked the UK and scarred a generation. Despite the cruelty she endured, Leslie is remembered not for her suffering, but as a child whose smile and spirit were stolen. Her story stands as a lasting reminder to guard the innocence of children and to remember those lost. Nancy Fox was 25 years old, living independently in Wichita, Kansas, when Dennis Rader, later revealed as the BTK killer, broke into her home in 1977. Nancy was known for her kindness and her dedication to her work. Her death became one of the key cases that later tied Rader to his crimes. Nancy's life is remembered not for the violence that ended it, but for the spirit of independence, warmth, and humanity she showed to those around her. Robert Piest was a 15-year-old high schooler in Des Plaines, Illinois. After finishing his shift at a local pharmacy, he was lured away with the promise of a summer job. He never came home. His disappearance ultimately led investigators to Gacy's home, where dozens of victims were uncovered. Robert's short life ended in tragedy, but he is remembered as the young man whose story helped bring down one of America's most notorious killers.
Will my heart ever find its way back